So when you're looking for that perfect gift or just need a custom arrangement, don't hesitate to contact Lady T's Elegant Creations, where everything is handcrafted with love.
For more information, please call 609-531-1756.
All right, welcome back to Let's Get It. Once again, I'm your host, Randy Duckin, along with Marcus Bullock and Jason Bryce. After a fantastic first segment, we are more than happy to welcome to the show Coach Joe Machowski, who is the basketball coach at Pennsville Memorial High School. How are you doing this morning, Coach?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. It took me 46 years to get famous.
Well, listen, I appreciate you, feeling, that our platform is making you famous. We're growing. We appreciate that. I know that you are a huge sports guy. Obviously, I want to, before we get too much into, your thoughts and feelings on some of the sports topics, tell us a little bit about your coaching background. I know you coached with South Jersey Hall of Fame Coach Scott Klein, you said, but tell us more about your coaching and background experience.
Well, back in the day, I was a player, and then I went away to college.
Okay, so I know what that means. Is let me. What's the most points you dropped in a game? Because when you say I was a player, you know the statistics on point.
Oh, well, let me listen, when I woke up in the morning, I was good for 18 and 10.
Oh, okay. All right.
I wasn't banging 30, 35 a game. I was 18-10. I'm eating potatoes.
Hey, listen, that's what you needed. That's what you needed.
I'm talking about.
No, go ahead. Tell us a little more about your career.
Oh, sure. After I graduated from the University of Lynchburg in Virginia, I came back home, started my teaching career, and that led me to a JV. I started out in JV basketball with Steve Klein at Penns Grove High School. And then I got away from the game for a little bit. And then 4 years ago, I came back to my alma mater here at the Memorial High School of Pennsville, where I was a class of 92 alum, and I also live here in town.
Okay, awesome. And I think that's really cool. I know that when you can go back to your alma mater and be a coach and support the school, it's surreal probably for you also to be in the other shoes now.
Well, like I always tell my players, coaching is as close as you can get to being a player.
Yes.
So I'm still addicted to the game, and I still love the squeak of the shoes, the smell of the gym. So coaching is as close as you can get to playing. And this year, now that all of our games are televised, I expect my profile to be increasing, as well as my weekly segments on your podcast.
Listen, no, absolutely. Like I said, we're always looking for additional guests and whatnot, and we're happy to have you on and follow you throughout the season, how you're going. I know again, obviously too, you're coaching up against Coach Ware, who we had on another one of our episodes. So got a little rivalry going between our guests.
I wish it was a rivalry. Coach Ware's got over 100 wins, a South Jersey championship. I'm a little closer to 100 losses with no championship. But we're trying to develop that rivalry.
Hey, listen, you got to start from somewhere.
Coach, how was your first week of practice with everything going on with all the changes and that kind of stuff?
Well, let me give you a mental picture. We're like Rocky Balboa running through the streets of Philly. We're training. We're working hard. We're not yet ready to climb up those art museum steps yet and put our hands in the air, but we're getting there.
Rock. Oh, man.
That's us.
No, that's fantastic. So the underdog mentality, I like it a lot. And I think what you said about, obviously all of us have been ball players, and I coach. I know, coach obviously coaches, and you're right. When you can't play, some of us still like to think we can play a little bit, but when you have to step away, when you're able to coach and pass on the knowledge to other people, that is the next best thing to playing. And sometimes, even as a coach, I felt that seeing what you're passing on is actually even more gratifying sometimes than what you got on the field.
Oh, it's the relationship. This is my fourth year now, so I've graduated 3 classes, and having the kids come back and contribute to practice, and it's all, you guys know, it's all about relationships. Wins and losses come and go, but your relationship with your players, that's what endures throughout your lifetime.
No, it is, and absolutely. I mean, like I said, I've coached baseball for many years. I have kids that, now coaching at like one of my kids was coaching at the University of Rochester, who I had when he was 15 years old, and just seeing the growth of the people that you had and just the knowledge passing it along, it's a great feeling. So like I said, we're going to continue to follow you, but let me get into some of the thoughts on, I know you were listening to our first, segment, and the James Harden talk and the James Harden trade. Let me get your thoughts first on the trade itself and your thoughts on whether or not the Sixers should have pulled the trigger to do something like that.
Well, the Sixers got better by not trading for James Harden, that's for sure. When you got a guy that wants to jack up 30, 35 shots a night, then go out to South Philly to some of the finer gentlemen club establishments that are in the city, that's not a culture I want as a coach. That's not something I want brought into my team. So by giving that to one of our division rivals, and he can go up there and play with KD and Kyrie when he comes back, and that's just not something I want. What I want is Bradley Beal. Like I heard Coach say in the first segment, that for me, Simmons and Matthias Tebow there for Ish Smith and Bradley Beal, that's my deal. Beal is the deal.
Wait, so what is your deal for Beal? Go ahead and repeat that again. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. My sources have already told me that the Sixers are working with the Wizards in completing a Simmons and Matthias Tebow trade for Bradley Beal and Ish Smith.
Oh, wait a minute. I don't think anybody wants to give up Ben Simmons to get Bradley Beal.
Yeah,
I think everybody does after last night, don't they?
I don't know.
How can you have your star? How can you have your 6'10" point guard come down with the ball in his hand to win the game and then dish it off to Tyrese Maxey? That tells me as a coach everything I need to know.
Well,
it's
well,
interesting.
I mean, but consider this fact, and I'm not saying I disagree on that point, but consider this a little bit, and I'm going to ride this for a little bit. Is that Ben Simmons is now starting to get some real coaching and development. Okay, I think that he might have stagnated, or became stagnated under Coach Brett Brown. So maybe give him a little bit to get those back. Like so for instance, like you see how Tobias has done for the last 2 years under Brett Brown, right? And then you're seeing him for maybe however many games, 11, 12 games he's been under Doc Rivers, right? And there's a severe difference, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes it's like, kind of like just giving coach an opportunity to see what can be done. I'm not saying I disagree with Bradley Beal. I don't know Bradley Beal is a 2 guard. He's not a point guard. Ish Smith is cool. He's undersized though, so he's no starter. So then now you trade Simmons for Bradley Beal, but then now you're devoid of a point guard. So now who do you?
I thought we had Tyrese Maxey.
Tyrese Maxey's a 2 to me. He's not a 1. He's a 2. I want him always looking for his shot doing this thing. My point guard, I want dishing. That's why I said Ben Simmons, is he fulfilling his point guard duties, but not fulfilling his star duties? Is it different? You know what I'm saying?
Well, Jace, that's a great way to look at it. But like you like to say, let's get real. All right, let's get real. Ben Simmons, in the first segment, you guys were talking about what a good. We don't know what kind of teammate he is. Let's go back 2 weeks ago when the Sixers were sequestered in Brooklyn after Steph Curry popped up positive during the game. And did you know that Mr. Simmons hired an Uber driver to pick him up from Brooklyn?
He said, "I'm out of here."
He bolted from the team to go back to Philly, and then only came back when they knew that the NBA was going to find out there was going to be a big to-do. So you tell me about Mr. Los Angeles, Ben Simmons, being a Philly guy.
That's a great point. It's a great point.
No, well, I mean, but he came back though. So I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like I mean, if it was Harden be like, yo, listen, yo, I'm in Tabo. Yo, figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Or if somebody else. So he
on the owner's plane. That was the best part.
So I know.
That's crazy too.
So Joe, I'm gonna throw it over to Marcus just to get his thoughts on some of the things that you had said. So because I know he has some things he wants to share.
No, I mean that trade the one you're talking about with Beal and Ish Smith, I would sign up for that in 2 seconds. Like, I have no problem. I think, the problem I have with all these trades is Embiid. We're keeping Embiid, which if you're going to keep Embiid, that puts a time limit on when you're going to win, because Embiid only has so many years left that he's going to be able to play at this level. So if you're going to keep Embiid, you have to win now. And I don't think you can wait for Simmons to try to figure it out. So I'm all for going out and getting somebody, really, in my opinion, who can just score the ball is what we really need. Somebody who can score on their own.
I'll tell you this, Coach. I'm not in love with Embiid either.
Thank you. And that's it. And you know what? That, to me, I think is the problem. I think that we're not confident about Embiid. So now, because you're not confident about one of your main pieces, now you start putting additional pressure on other people. Like, to me, it's like, Embiid's what, 26?
Are we sure about that?
No.
Well, here's what I mean. During his recruitment,
I don't know. And we can't have a birthday type of thing. Oh, come on.
I think Joel Embiid's really 38. We got to check that
out. Yo, you know what? But he plays sometimes, and the way he moves at different times, and him falling over, always flopping and sloppy. It just it gets to me.
It's like a men's rec league game.
It does. It gets to me, man. And I think that's the problem. How come his conditioning? How come he's not like one of the things I thought was real powerful with Embiid, the best thing ever, was when he was crying like a baby. Because then I said, you know what? Okay, he really wants to win now, because usually you have those emotions when you want something real badly. But I haven't seen like a forward progress from him, and we can contribute that to Brett Brown as well. You know what I'm saying? So,
but why isn't he in shape now? In shape has nothing to do with teaching, learning, any of that stuff. That's something that you can control on your own. I think.
I agree, Coach. I'm tired of Coach Brown being thrown under the bus on this job.
Well, I mean, Coach Brown, he's
under the bus. He's in the
he's always been thrown under the bus. And I think, and I've had this argument with people before, I think Brett Brown did exactly what he was asked to do, and he did it well. And I think that the people in this town just throw him under the bus when he was asked to lead a half-broken car and not throw it off the road.
A JV team. He started with a JV NBA team.
Right, and he did a great job.
And I'll give you that. And I'm sorry, I'm looking at Randy's side eye here a little bit, because I'm wondering how you got all this allegiance for Brett Brown, but you ain't got no allegiance for Doug Peterson. But that's another conversation. That's another conversation. I'm gonna leave that alone. You know what I mean? But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, go ahead.
I think the issue, and I get a lot of people say that, Embiid, I don't want him either. But Embiid's kind of untradeable, because the way the league is played right now, Embiid really doesn't fit with a whole lot of teams. Whereas Simmons, he's an easier piece to put into a system. And that's what a lot of people are saying.
Yeah, he is, absolutely.
That's what a lot of people are saying about with Harden as well. He can only go to a couple places and really fit in, whereas a Bradley Beal or a Zach LaVine, you can kind of fit them into any kind of system that you're running.
Yeah, you absolutely.
Well, and Coach, I agree with you. As a coach, I can't control Ben Simmons in the offseason taking 1,000 jumpers. I can't control Joel Embiid staying away from McDonald's. As a coach, I control when you come into my gym, here are my plays, let's get it. What have you done in the offseason? And Brett Brown gets blamed for these guys not having the hunger and the drive to be better. To me, it's on the players.
But not to cut you though, Randy, but at the same time, I think a coach sees what pieces he has and then develops a system, as opposed to taking those players and trying to fit them in your system and your ideology. I don't think Brett Brown was flexible. He was still trying to run the same stuff as if he had JJ and Ilyasova and Bellinelli.
Oh, that's my team. That's funny you mentioned that, Jason.
They were really good. They were really good. He was okay then. But once he lost the shooters, he got exposed, and he was never able to fit in the whole Al Horford and whatever. Al Horford, I'm not saying that he definitely got a hell of a contract from EB. That must be homeboy love or something. I give you that. But I just felt like Brett Brown wasn't flexible with the pieces that he had. That's just me. You know what I mean? Like he was
Well, get
good.
Brett Brown some shooters.
Right, he needed shooters, and when you took the shooters away, his system failed. It's almost like D'Antoni. That's what I'm saying, and that's interesting about Brooklyn because D'Antoni's there. So really, D'Antoni is really kind of coaching the team along with Steve Nash, whatever. But they're pretty much the new modern,
D'Antoni coach Nash.
Right. So they're the new modern Phoenix Suns, right? And we all know what happened with the Phoenix Suns, right? They got close.
They're not playing that way though.
That's true.
They're not playing that same style.
They're not playing defense.
Well, there's probably 25 teams in the NBA that aren't playing defense.
Yeah, but okay, that's true. But we know that during the playoffs they need to play defense.
For sure, absolutely.
They're gonna have to learn how to play defense. So
Absolutely.
we'll see.
And as funny that you mentioned that, as a high school coach, we have to be wary of what leaks its way down to our level. Even at the high school level now, you're seeing a lot of 5-out offenses, a reliance on the 3-point shot. And you're only going to be as good as the talent you have on the court. And kids watch this, and they see it on TV, and they come to my practice and they're like, Coach, why are we going 5-out ISO? I'm like, because we're not a 5-out ISO team.
Right.
No, I mean, and that's the thing, though, because, you can say it in all sports, but especially now because of how everything is produced on social media and kids are watching, whether it's, basketball, football, baseball, they see what's going on at that pro level and they want to replicate it and realize they don't have the ability to replicate that. Like I said, I'm a baseball guy and everyone wants to hit home runs. Right. And it's like, no, you still need the fundamentals of the game to be successful at the end of the day. At the end of the day, yeah, a home run is great, but you need to be able to bunt that runner over with no outs and, to move him in the scoring position. And I think a lot of the
guys.
Yep. A lot of the
I agree with you, Randy. I didn't mean to.
No, it's okay.
You guys asked me how the first week of high school practice went. For the first 2 days, I had to stop my guards from jumping to the side to take a 3-pointer.
Yeah. So let me ask you.
That's the side step.
Let me ask you something, Joe. Joe, let me ask you this. Obviously, and if this is the last thing I'm going to ask you about the Sixers, and I just want to move on to another topic that I know you're hot about. With the way the Sixers are developed right now, and where the league is at, what is your ceiling for the Sixers right now? Where do you think they're going to go?
Scott, same story, different year. 6 in the East, first round knockout.
Ooh. Okay.
I mean, I can't rely on sweet Shake Milton to take me to the promised land. Maxey a rookie. The 38-year-old Joel Embiid lasting the whole season and getting there for me. And Ben Simmons, wherever I think everybody's down on him. So unless we make my Bradley Beal trade, 6th in the East, first round knockout.
Okay. So let me ask you, I know you said your sources, and then you said it's your Bradley Beal trade. So, is that, I'm just saying.
Good point.
So
I'm not saying I don't have Daryl Morey on speed dial. I'll back it up a little bit.
No, I'm just messing with you. No, that's some great stuff. So I do want to transition to, because I know you love all sports and can touch on them. What are your thoughts with the other big topic, the Philadelphia Eagles in this area? What's your thoughts on? And I can get it from what they do with the quarterback position to the front office. Just give me your thoughts on with the state with the Sixers.
Ready.
Or excuse me, not the Sixers.
I'm going to fix your Eagles right now.
All right, come on.
You're going to hire Lincoln Riley as your coach.
Okay.
You're going to commit to Jalen Hurts as your quarterback.
Let's go,
and you're going
Joe.
to get Carson Wentz as soon as you can.
Okay, and I don't honestly. I mean, I know that. No, I don't mind. I don't hate that. Listen, Joe.
You threw him a curveball,
No, Joe. I
I
actually think that's a great. I like that. I like that maneuver. I'm not even going to say I don't. I think, Joe, you got to understand. It's been hard for me to break apart from Carson. It's been hard for me to really do that, but I'm starting to. I like that maneuver, and my thing is this. Obviously, because Lincoln Riley coached Jalen Hurts in college, he has that rapport with him. So you obviously can't get rid of Carson this year unless you just eat a ton of money. How do you get out from under Carson? I mean, I know next year you could get out from under him, but how do you get out from him right now?
Well, the kindergarten answer is to trade him off to Frank Reich in Indianapolis.
It is, yeah.
And hope that he takes some of that money with him. But listen, it's not mine and your money. Eat the money. Get rid of him. Get him. Let's see who Carson Wentz is outside of the Philadelphia media pressure. A lot of people have been slow to bash Carson. Carson at times, and I don't want to be controversial, but he presents himself as a very religious guy. His audience of one foundation. It seems like on the surface that he does a lot of great things and he's a great guy. But my sources in the locker room, I'm not saying I really got sources in the locker room,
Right.
but he's not a good dude. He's a baby. He often does. He's not a coach. He's not a coachable person. So Doug said, "Look, it's me or Carson." They said, "Okay, it's Carson."
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
And now, when you hire your next coach, that's where you're going to see is Carson staying or going. I think Laurie wants him to stay. Howie wants him to stay. But who's going to come coach here when they can't even make their own coaching staff?
I mean, the
Right.
front
Everything is dictated.
And that's the thing. This front office, and I was saying before, like the problems with this team start at the top. The fact that Howie Roseman hasn't been accountable for poor drafting, the fact that they're so hung up on Carson right now. There's so many things from the top down with this organization, and people just think it's a quarterback problem that we have, and it's not just a quarterback problem. We have a huge problem. The fact that Howie Roseman continues to have a job, I don't know what evidence or stuff he has on Jeffrey Lurie, but how does he continue to have a job here in Philadelphia?
Well, maybe when Jeffrey Lurie looks down on that bling on the Super Bowl ring, he gives Howie a little bit more than he should.
Right. And
But
that's
how
what he
long
did.
does it? How long? I just saw a stat the other week that Peterson got fired 3 years after a Super Bowl. That's the fastest a coach has ever been dismissed after winning a Super Bowl. So, are we impatient in Philly?
Yes.
Should we have
Oh,
kept
absolutely.
Doug? Time will tell.
I mean, I think time's going to tell. I think all you've done is listen. If Carson was what he was before, you've just signed on to like, hey, listen, Carson, you're okay. It's okay the way that you've been behaving. It's okay that these reports are out there. It's okay this. It's okay with that. And that's sad because the guys that brought you the Super Bowl, Foles and Peterson, they're out the door. Those are the ones that have. And please forgive me because I'm not really an Eagle fan like that. But I didn't even know that Peterson and Foles got statues outside the stadium.
Yeah, for Philly.
So they actually have statues. Okay, and you got rid of them for the one for Carson.
But go
Who has
Yeah, so the guys didn't even play.
who the guy didn't even play. He didn't even play. Okay, he played 11-3, but
So let me ask you. Hold on.
There you
I
go.
can't let that go.
Let's go,
So let
Joe.
me ask you this.
I'm gonna
Because-
let
let me
Joe
ask you this,
get-
Joe.
that's all.
Do the Eagles win the Super Bowl that year without Carson Wentz? And what he did?
To answer that question, I hate to answer a question with a question, but had Nick Foles played that regular season with Frank Reich as his offensive coordinator, does Nick Foles, is he still in Philly and Carson Wentz gone?
Let's go, Joe.
I mean, that's a great.
Let's
that's,
go,
that's
Joe.
a great question. And I think that when you look at it, you could
And why
be, because it
didn't Carson
also
finish
at
the
the same
season?
time, if he doesn't play, but that's not what's going to happen because they were so committed to Carson. Carson was the draft pick, so that's the thing. Like we mortgaged the future for Carson, so the idea of if Nick plays really isn't even a relevant conversation because he was never going to play unless Carson got injured.
Well, he got injured.
Well, then I'm going to come back and say, yes, the Eagles win the Super Bowl that year without Carson Wentz, just to answer the question.
Okay, no, and that's fair,
Right.
and that's fair.
And can I ask Joe a question too?
Yeah, shoot.
Let me just double down on that too, Joe. Let me ask you. Now, Carson did 11-3, and we commend him for that. Okay, but Nick Foles had to come in and go through the playoffs and win the Super Bowl. Who you think had the harder road or the harder job, or was the job equally as
Nicky
hard?
Six.
Thank you.
Nicky Six, you got to win. Listen, the playoffs are when these reputations are forged.
Thank you.
Carson Wentz is still looking for that validation.
Right.
That's why he's so insecure with Jalen Hurts.
That's right.
That's why he's
For
insecure
sure.
with the whole Nick Foles.
Thank you.
When Carson looks at his Super Bowl ring, what do you think he's thinking?
Exactly.
Joe, we should have
exactly, Joe.
Listen, Joe, I should have had a conversation with you off air prior to having you on here. But no, I'm just messing with you. I think that you make. I know I want to go over to Marcus real quick, but you do making some phenomenal arguments. Phenomenal
For
arguments.
sure, but Coach, I think you also understand that when you put invest so much into a draft pick and into a quarterback that you know, no matter what, but pretty much anything that happens, you're gonna ride with that guy. That's kind of just as a franchise. Now, from a fan looking from the outside in, it's easy to say, oh, this, that. But when you're inside and you have to make these decisions, and I invest so much into someone, you're going to give them a little bit of extra rope.
Yeah, especially when ego is involved. That's how he's man. Like, that's how he fits. That's
So-
the guy.
No, it is, and so I mean, obviously, I think that at the end of the day, still, I think the Eagles are going to hire somebody who is can be manipulated. I don't think they're going to hire someone who's going to, be able to stand their ground. Honestly, I think I love the idea of Lincoln Riley, but I think Lincoln Riley, even though he's, is established enough and has that, obviously it's only at the college level, but I think he's not going to come in and kind of just be the pawn for the organization. So that's why, and I don't know if Deuce does either. I think right now, as far as the people that they've interviewed, I think a lot of fans would like to see Deuce Staley get the job. But I think that's also just kind of thinking with the heart and not thinking with on the field.
Well, who would and I get now. I fully understand you guys' point when you say like who would want to come here and work because
Absolutely.
listen, Doug did everything you asked him to do. He brought you a chip. He even won with a backup quarterback, and then he even came back the next year, and they're like right there in the conversation with the same backup quarterback. And then on top of that, he did the ultimate company move. Okay, he took out Hurts and put in what's the scrub? Not Danucci. Who's the Sudfeld. He
Nick
put up. He
Nick
did right.
Sudfeld.
That was a company move.
Who looked like Nick Foles' brother.
That was a company move, though. You know what I'm saying? And he still got fired. He still got fired.
I don't think fired is the right word.
No, I think he chose to leave because he said, "I want this. If you're not going to do it, then I'm out."
Now, I'm not saying
No,
that.
Things have to change fast.
Now wait a minute.
What do you mean?
We
What do you mean,
didn't
Joe?
because we didn't read that it said Doug Peterson resigned because that's when somebody has the choice in the matter. We read that.
If I get fired, you pay me. If I resign, I don't get paid.
Okay.
Well, what I mean by
That's a
things
great
changing
point.
fast was
That's
when
a great
Doug
point.
pulled
Great point.
Jalen. When Doug pulled Jalen for Sudfeld to clean up,
Sure.
he did that to increase his draft pick,
Right.
not the next coach's draft pick.
For sure.
So that Sunday night during the Washington football team, he thought he was going to be the coach next season.
Yes, he
Or
did.
I don't think he does that.
I agree.
Right, I agree because look, going into that game,
Good point.
they endorsed Doug for the following season, and then
Right.
and then the front office changed course. So that's why I say that the problems really start at the top when it comes to Howie and Jeff. And I mean, at the same time, I think that this team has a lot of issues. I mean, we know obviously when it comes to drafting, you got to hit this year. I have no faith that they can draft. I have no faith that they're going to make the right pick. Because the team has such a history of making the wrong pick and blatantly ignoring what they need when it's right in front of them.
Starting with caution.
Oh, well, had the Eagles selected DK Metcalf instead of, is Doug Peterson still here? Sure.
Well,
Is
you
Carson Wentz your quarterback still? Probably, if he's not injured.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things. It's a domino effect.
Yep.
A lot of things went into how we got here.
No, it is, and that's the thing is that we have a long way to go. I'm interested to see what happens with the head coaching scenario. And again, you need to make the pick. I know people say, "Oh, the draft is far away," and blah 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 blah. But you need to figure out the top and get some stability in place before you can move on to the next thing. And
Absolutely.
I know that it's not going to happen overnight, and but it's so funny because then every day, like, if there's anybody who doesn't have a job, they're being interviewed by the Eagles. I mean, it's like, anybody who in the league, like, oh, the Eagles are about to interview the water boy for the Kansas City Chiefs for the head coaching position, But we'll see what happens.
He is a good water boy.
Listen, as much as that offense runs, if he can keep him hydrated, he might have something there.
Well, not so fast, my friend. If you're going to the window today to put some skin on the game, you better back my Cleveland Browns today, getting 10 points.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Joe, I am. Listen, a good buddy of mine, Phil, who's a watcher of this show. He's a huge Cleveland Browns fan. I got my Brown on today, so here's the thing: is that I would love to see the Browns win today. Going forward, like I said, I know you're riding the Browns. What's your thoughts on today's games and the playoffs moving forward?
Now this is what I was meant for. Thank you, Randy. Let's go right to our first game with Cleveland at Kansas City. I know the public wants to tell you it's going to be a high-scoring game today. I don't buy that. I think it's going to be a tight game. I think Nick Chubb is going to dominate the run game today. I think the Browns want to be methodical in what they do. And I got the Chiefs ultimately winning the game, but not by more than the 10 points that Las Vegas has given to keep us interested.
Okay.
So my pick would be Browns to the under.
Okay. All right. Browns in the under.
Now, and now after our 6:30 game tonight, the GOAT versus probably the second or third best quarterback of this era, Drew Brees. Tonight you're going to witness the end of an era. The New Orleans Saints are going to make Tom Brady look old. They're going to make him look a little silly. And the Saints are going to blow this game out way past the suggested 3.5 points that Las Vegas thinks. Michael Thomas, healthier Alvin Kamara, Drew Brees. It's going to be Saints all day. It might be over by halftime.
Okay.
Let's give the public the over as well, because if I'm saying Saints are going to do this, I got to give the public Saints to the over.
Coach, are you?
By the way, the Saints is Coach Joe's lead pipe lock of the week.
Okay. I don't even have to ask this question when you're throwing that stuff out there. I was going to say, are you, gambling's now legal in New Jersey. Are you a betting man?
Well, I'll tell you, it's about time that the world caught up to my personal proclivities. I'll tell you that. 12 years ago, 15 years ago, if you're a coach talking about gambling, you might be viewed as a ne'er-do-well. Now you can't watch sports without Jamie Foxx or Aaron Paul or this betting website or that betting website. Even during the Sixers game, they give you the Sugar House live line at halftime.
Right.
So I'm glad everybody's caught up to me, that's for sure.
So, Joe, like I said, I really appreciate you joining us on here today. I know that, we're always trying to build this show. Maybe next week we can get Coach McCracken on here.
Oh, hey, let's keep building the show up. I got to advocate for myself first before Coach McCracken. I am looking to build this into a weekly segment. I think you guys did a good job today.
Appreciate you.
And we got to keep this popping. We'll all build our profiles together, especially once the high school season starts.
Yes.
I'm the guy you're going to want to hear from for all South Jersey basketball opinions.
All right.
Oh, man, listen, Joe, we appreciate it, man. And once again, some phenomenal takes. We look forward to having you back on the show.
He got a shout out too. I got a shout out. Coach Dante Howard told me to tell you what's up.
Coach Dante Howard knows what he knows, man. He's a good man.
Good dude.
My son went to elementary school down there at the Lafayette Persian.
Yep.
Coach Dante, shout out to him as
He's
well.
a good dude. Great dude.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Joe,
You guys have a great Martin Luther King Day. Make sure you get out Monday and do some service for the community. Honor the great Reverend Doctor by giving back.
Absolutely.
And I hope everybody has a great weekend. And let's do this again next week.
sounds good.
All right, bro.
All right, Joe, thanks a
All right,
lot.
guys. Thank you. Take care.
Let's give it up for Joe, man.
Joe,
Joe was
fantastic.
a great, very great.
Oh, absolutely. And, like I said, we'll definitely be having him back on again. All right, once again, we are going to be, coming back right after this. We'll wrap it up. You're watching Let's Get It. We'll be right back after this break.